This is Retro Sports Radio. Visit RetroSeasons.com for more sports history.
On June 11th, 1981, the Cincinnati Reds faced the New York Mets in a Thursday night game at Shea Stadium. This date is significant because it marked the final set of baseball games before the 1981 baseball players' strike, which would last for nearly 2 months. The season resumed in August, and the league decided to split the season into 2 halves. Teams leading in the standings in each half were declared division winners and given a berth to the postseason. The Cincinnati Reds were managed by John McNamara, who was in his 3rd year with the club. The Mets were managed by Joe Torre in what would be his last season with the team before leaving for Atlanta in 1982. In this game, the Reds sent their longtime ace, Tom Seaver, to the mound to face the Mets' Pat Zachary. This audio recording is from the Cincinnati radio broadcast featuring announcers Marty Brenneman and Joe Nuxhall.
For Cincinnati, it's Collins in right field, Griffey in center field, Concepcion at shortstop, Foster in left, Dreesen at first base, Knight at third, with Oster at second, Nolan catching, and Seaver on the mound. For the Mets, to lead off in center field, Mookie Wilson. Bob Baylor will play shortstop in that second. Ellis Valentine in right field will hit third. Batting in the cleanup spot, left fielder Dave Kingman. Rusty Staub will play first base, bat fifth. Hitting number 6 at third base, Mike Cubbage. Alex Trevino will catch and hit number 7. Batting 8th at second base, Doug Flynn. And batting 9th, the New York pitcher, right-hander Pat Zachary. Right now from Shea Stadium in New York, our national anthem.
The Joe Torre of St. Camillus from Rockaway, New York.
Again, going over the Mets batting order quickly. Wilson in center field, Baylor at shortstop, Valentine in right field, Kingman in left, Staub at first base, Cubbage at third, with Trevino catching, Flynn at second, and Zachary pitching. This copyrighted broadcast is authorized under broadcasting rights granted by the Cincinnati Reds solely for the entertainment of our listening audience. Any publication, rebroadcast, or other use of the descriptions and accounts of this game without the express written consent of the Cincinnati Reds is prohibited. The announcers on this broadcast are employed by the Cincinnati Reds. Well, as the Reds complete the first leg of the scheduled 3-city, 8-game Eastern Division road trip, the question on the tips of tongues of everybody, fans, players, management alike, will there be baseball after tonight as far as the major leagues are concerned? As we mentioned earlier during our pregame shows, 3 negotiating sessions have already taken place at a downtown Manhattan hotel today, with another one having gotten underway about 6 minutes ago, with the idea, of course, of averting a baseball strike that would begin tomorrow throughout the major leagues. And I would imagine the feeling among many people close to the situation, or as close as you might be while not being there, although there were a number of players from a number of different teams who were at the negotiating sessions here in New York City today, who feel that they will probably be negotiating throughout the night, much in the same fashion as was the case last year when a settlement was reached early in the morning to avoid a baseball strike then. And, Joe, I'm sure that is the hope and the prayer of us and everybody connected with baseball, certainly the fans first and foremost. They don't want to see baseball stop, and I don't think anybody else does either.
Marty, I'm very sure that is absolute truth, that no one wants to see a strike in this great game. It's a game that the family enjoys, mom and dad bringing the youngsters to the ballpark, and it'd just be a shame if something should happen that there is a strike, and hopefully they'll be able to get this thing ironed out before tomorrow, and we can continue on with the schedule, because as we were talking to George, things are going right good for this ball club now. They're playing excellent baseball, doing the things that are needed to be done to win baseball games. If we need good pitching, the pitching's been outstanding. If we need some offense, the offense is able to generate some runs. So the ball club is really playing excellent baseball, and hopefully we'll continue right on. You look at Pat Zachary. Of course, Pat, as we mentioned, a 2-2 one-loss record against the Reds last year. He was 1-1. He started 4 times against Cincinnati last year. Beat him 2-0 on July the 25th of last year when he went all the way. And he beat Paul Moscow on that game. The Reds beat Zach here on May the 7th of last year. He pitched just 3 innings, and Tommy Hume picked up the win and relieved Zachary the loser. And Tom Seaver, we pointed out, he only pitched once against the Mets last year. No decision. Tom worked 8 innings in that game, allowing 6 hits. But we look back on Tom's last start, and it was a 9-3 win over the Montreal Expos. And if you might remember, Tom was asked about the home run that Gary Carter hit in the first inning. And Tom said, well, I felt that I just throw him kind of a mediocre slider. He said, I found out I better not do that anymore during the course of the game. And from that point on, the Mets, or the Expos rather, scored 1 more run, and that came in the 9th inning when Raines tripled, and he scored on a sacrifice bat off the bat of Mike Phillips. So Tom has pitched very well since coming back off that thigh problem.
Well, Pat Zachary has finished his warm-up to catcher Alex Trevino, and it'll be Dave Collins to lead it off as normal for Cincinnati. He with a .313 batting average, a couple of home runs on the season, and a total of 17 runs batted in. So a former Red, Pat Zachary, pitching against a former Met, Tom Seaver, in the wind-up of 3 here at Shea Stadium. Zachary brings in the pitch. Collins bunts, third base side, picked up by Trevino, throwing to first, in the dirt. Rusty Staub digs it out. So the out in this game is underway. Collins really didn't get it out far enough along the third baseline. Trevino was able to go out and make the quick pickup. And although throwing low, the bounce was not really a short hop where it could create a great deal of problem for Staub. He was able to make the play, and Collins is out in the bunt attempt. So 1 away, and it's 2-3 if you're scoring with us. And here's center fielder Ken Griffey. Griffey batting .294 with 16 RBIs and a home run. Zachary with a wind, the kick, and the pitch, and Kenny takes it high and away. Ball 1. Zachary, the co-rookie pitcher of the year in the National League back in 1976 when he was a 14-game winner with the Reds, along with a .274 earned run average. He misses down low with that pitch. He's behind 2-0. He and, at the time, San Diego relief pitcher Butch Metzger shared the award. Metzger has been out of Major League Baseball for a few years now. Zachary trying to win his 6th game of the season tonight, and he's in with a 2-0 pitch, a call strike. Cincinnati remaining a game and a half behind Los Angeles with the 2-0 victory here last night. The Dodgers knocking off the St. Louis Cardinals on a 3-hitter by Jerry Roy. Swung on, ripped into right field, and Valentine will have to play that ball on the bounce. Ken Griffey with a 1-out single to right field, his 4th hit and 8 times up in this series. One out, one on. The batter, shortstop Dave Concepcion, moved back into the number 3 slot in the batting order last night. He responded with an 8th inning single to drive in the 2nd and final run of the night for the Reds, his 44th RBI, trailing George Foster, the Major League leader, by 2. And Concepcion batting .308. Staub, Flynn, Baylor, and Cubbage at first, second, short, and third for New York as Zachary straightens up on the mound, pours it plateward, and Concepcion takes a strike. In the outfield, Kingman in left, Wilson in center, Valentine in right, and Trevino catching. So Joe Torre making still more changes in his lineup tonight in an effort to try and salvage a victory here. Zachary checking Griffey. Now steps off the pitching rubber and throws on to Rusty Staub. Our plate umpire is Lee Wire. Dutch Rennert is at first base, Charlie Williams at second, and Randy Marsh at third. Reds have won the first two games by scores of 8-4 and 2-0. The pitch inside, 1 ball and 1 strike. And we might point out the 12 strikeouts that Mario Soto had in the win last night. That's a high for a National League pitcher in 1981. And of course it was his first shutout of the season. 1 ball, 1 strike, 1 out. Griffey at first base. We're in the top half of the first inning. Pat Zachary again will lob one over to first base. Dodgers and the Cardinals close out the series at Busch Stadium tonight. Fernando Valenzuela will be going for his 10th win of the season against right-hander Silvio Martinez. Each of those teams has won a game. Zachary with a long pause, and now Concepcion backs out of the batter's box. Zachary coming set just a little bit too long to suit the batter. Pat Cumming to the Mets on the 15th of June, 1977, so he will have been a New York Met exactly 4 years, 4 days from now, as Tom Seaver will have been a Cincinnati Red. There's another throw to first. Zachary working very deliberately here in the first inning. George Foster on deck. Concepcion up 8 times in the series, 2 hits and a run batted in. He grounds it off the leg of Zachary, rolling between second and third. That's going to be a base hit. That ball appeared to hit Zachary somewhere up around the right thigh or right side and carry him over between second and third base. The ball definitely finding the hole between third baseman Cubbage and shortstop Baylor. Getting Zachary on the right thigh, or the side, upper side of the right leg, and that'll be an infield hit for Concepcion with Griffey going on to second. So the Reds have 2 men on, a man out, and their top run producer and George Foster at the plate. Foster's had some kind of series here in New York. 5 hits and 9 times up. A home run, a double, a triple, couple of singles, and he's driven in 2 runs. He's now batting .300 on the season. Here's a pitch to him, and Foster takes a breaking ball for a strike. After Collins was thrown out on the bunt attempt, Griffey lines a single to right. Concepcion reaches on the infield hit. The infield looking for the ground ball as Zachary kicks and fires, and Foster swings at a pitch away. He's behind 2 strikes. Reds have 3 300 hitters in their lineup, led by Collins at .313, then Concepcion at .308, Foster at .300. Ken Griffey on the rise. He came in batting .294. That average shoots up as a result of the base hit. And Joe Nolan behind the plate batting .288. Of course, Danny Dreesen has also been swinging a hot bat here in this series. Ronnie Oster at .293. So Cincinnati continues to do everything right of late. 2-strike pitch. Foster takes strike 3. George Foster caught looking as Zachary rings up a strikeout, his first of the night. He'll pitch now to first baseman Danny Dreesen. Trevino going out to the mound to talk with Zachary for a moment. Dreesen batting .210.
It's always interesting things you see at a ballpark, Marty, and the play of a game. On that particular pitch, Trevino wanted the ball up and in, and Zach threw it down and away. Whether he meant to do that or not.
Sometimes you get away with it, and sometimes you don't.
Maybe they tricked George.
Here's Danny Dreesen now with 2 outs. Dreesen takes it in the dirt for a ball. .210 the batting average, as we pointed out, but he's batted .533 in the last 4 games, going 8 for 15 with 2 doubles, 2 home runs, and 5 RBIs. And it would be a safe statement to make right now that Danny Dreesen is on top of his game. Even in making outs, especially last night when he went 1 for 4, he hit some balls awfully hard. Up high, 2 balls and no strikes. Griffey's at second. Concepcion is at first. 2 outs. On deck for the Reds, third baseman Ray Knight. Right-hander looking back at second, brings it up there, and he's behind. 3 balls and no strikes. So Zach a pitch away from loading him up for Ray Knight. Joe Torre putting Baylor in at shortstop, replacing Tavares for this game, replacing Hubie Brooks with Mike Cubbage at third base. Rusty Staub getting a start at first for the second straight night, and Trevino behind the plate rather than Stearns. There's strike 1 call. 3-1. Valentine deep and straightaway in right. Wilson shading Dreesen to pull in center, as is Kingman in left. From Zachary to Dreesen, that's ball 4, and that loads the bases. Griffey moves to third. Concepcion to second. Danny with a walk. He's heading down to first base, and here's Knight.
Number 55, Ray Knight.
Knight batting .246, 5 home runs, 18 RBIs, only 1 for 8 in the first 2 games here at Shea with an RBI. That came on a 2-base hit here on Tuesday night. Knight waving the bat around as Zachary works out of the windup. He pitches, and Knight swings and drives it into right field. Backing on it is Valentine. He's there, and he makes the catch. A couple of steps short of the warning track to end the inning. Cincinnati with a first-inning threat, but comes away with no runs, 2 hits, 3 left. After a half inning of play and the wrap-up of 3 in New York, the Reds nothing, and the Mets are coming to bat. Tom Seaver left the Reds dugout along the third baseline, and as he went to the Shea Stadium mound, a move that he has made many, many times throughout his Major League career, he received a standing ovation from the Mets fans. So while he's been gone almost 4 years, they remember Tom Seaver with fond memories for having some just unbelievable years while pitching for this New York Mets team. He's having a fine year with the Reds in 81, 6 wins and a loss with a 2.08 ERA. And he's ready to face the center fielder and leadoff batter, rookie Mookie Wilson. Here's a pitch to him, and he shows the bunt, takes it away, strike 1. Joe talked about Seaver's last start Saturday when he came back after being down 10 days with that left eye problem. Wilson fouls it off. Gave up the 2-run homer to Carter in the first inning and then shut out the Expos until they got that 9th inning run. He went the distance to win his 6th game of the season. The 2.08 ERA is 4th best in the National League. Wilson, strike 3. Started around. It didn't make any difference. The pitch was there, and Seaver has himself a strikeout. That brings up shortstop Bob Baylor. Baylor has seen action in each of the first 2 games as a latecomer and has had 2 hits and 3 times up on the year, batting .255 against National League pitching with 6 runs batted in. Former American leaguer Baylor with the Baltimore Orioles and the Toronto Blue Jays. He takes it low a ball. Dreesen, Oster, Concepcion, and Knight. First, second, short, and third defensively for the Reds. Foster, Griffey, Collins, left, center, and right in the outfield. Behind the plate, Joe Nolan. And it's 2 balls and no strikes on a pitch in on Bob Baylor. After 2 in Montreal, the Expos lead the Atlanta Braves 2-0. Montreal trying to sweep that series. And this afternoon, the Cubs beat the Giants 6-1. Swung on, fly ball, headed toward Collins and right. 2 out. Here's the right fielder, Ellis Valentine. The Cubs winning today have now run off 5 victories in their last 6 games and sent the Giants down to their 5th consecutive defeat. Chicago came out smoking against Tom Griffin, who was unable to survive the first inning in the wake of a 4-run outburst. The only Giant run coming on a 6th-inning home run by Joe Morgan, his 5th of the season, while Cub catcher Jody Davis had his first Major League home run, and Hector Cruz hit his 7th of the season. 1 ball and no strikes on Ellis Valentine. Randy Marsh got the win. Griffin took the loss. Tommy Boggs against Steve Rogers up at Montreal tonight. In there for strike 1 call, and Seaver with Valentine, a ball and a strike. 2 outs. Nothing happening in a scoreless first inning. Swung on and bounced to shortstop. Concepcion to his left for the pickup, and he shoots him down. The Mets are out in order, and after 1 completed Shea, Cincinnati nothing, New York nothing. In the American League tonight, 6 games on the schedule. Kansas City and Toronto have already started, and it's 1-0 Royals at the end of an inning. Paul Splittorff against Dave Steve. Texas plays in Milwaukee. New York at Chicago. Detroit at Minnesota. Baltimore and Seattle. And Boston at California. Ronnie Oster to lead things off in the second for Cincinnati. The Reds loaded the bases in the first inning against Zachary on hits by Griffey and Concepcion. And then a 2-out walk to Danny Dreesen, but the inning ended when Zachary got Knight on a fly ball to fairly deep right field and Ellis Valentine. Ronnie Oster batting .293, looking for his first hit here in New York. He's 0 for 9. Zachary pitches. Oster takes it inside, ball 1. Swung on, ground ball right side. There's Doug Flynn on the outfield grass to make the play, and he throws him out. Oster grounds out second to first. The batter will be catcher Nolan. Poster Day with the Reds is Pick Your Poster Day this year. Everybody 21 and under gets to choose one of the 7 posters in the Reds Poster Series. Be on hand Sunday, June 28th. The Reds against the Braves on Poster Day at Riverfront. .288 batting average for Joe Nolan with a home run and 9 runs batted in. Left-handed batter. Line drive, right center field, a hit. Over to cut it off is Ellis Valentine. Nolan takes a turn, and that's hit number 3 for Cincinnati. So with 1 out, Tom Seaver will probably be up trying to move Nolan into scoring position for Dave Collins, and Seaver again gets a big welcome from the Shea Stadium faithful. Mike Cubbage a step off the grass at third, and now coming as Zachary pauses, delivers. Seaver squares to bunt, takes it away, ball 1. Zachary, a 6'5" string bean, 175-pounder out of Waco, Texas. This one bunted first base side. Rusty Staub makes the play, kicks it around, recovers, and now throws on to Doug Flynn at first base. 3-4 sacrifice for Seaver. With Nolan moving to second, here's Dave Collins for the second time. Out Alex Trevino to Rusty Staub on a bunt attempt in the first inning. We'll pause for station identification on the Cincinnati Reds Baseball Network.
So why do we call Jim Sager the Beast of Baltimore? Well, you can draw your own conclusions each and every weekday evening from 6 until midnight here at K95. It's the Jim Sager Show, the Beast of Baltimore at K95, WHOK-FM, Lancaster.
Collins with Nolan at second, 2 away, in a scoreless game in the second inning. Right-hander kicks and throws, and Collins takes it up and in, ball 1. Now the 1-0 to the plate. That's inside and low. 2 balls and no strikes on Dave Collins. Base hit now will get a first run of the night home as Nolan takes the lead at second. Zachary behind and pitching. Collins taking, and that's strike 1 call just below the belt. 2 balls and a strike. If we do not have the work stoppage, the Reds are scheduled to open up a 3-game series in Montreal tomorrow night. Bruce Pereni against Charlie Lee. Saturday night it will be Mike Lacoste against Ray Barris. And Sunday afternoon to close things out there, Frank Pastore will duel Scott Sanderson. 2-1 pitch, high and outside, ball 3. In the event there is a strike, we might inform all our stations as well as our fans along the network line that Joe and I will be doing a 1-hour show, a talk show, beginning tomorrow night on our flagship station in Cincinnati and on our stations along the Reds Baseball Network, beginning at 8:05 Cincinnati time. That is ball 4. Collins flips the bat away and goes on down to first base as Zachary has issued his second walk. That would be a Monday through Friday nightly show, 8:05 to 9 o'clock, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday night, for as long as the strike would last. And this Saturday and Sunday, Joe and I are scheduled to be in Wichita to broadcast a couple of games involving our AAA farm club, the Indianapolis Indians. We would be on the air at 8 o'clock on Saturday night with the pregame shows, game time at 8:30 Cincinnati time, and 7 o'clock on Saturday night with the pregame shows. Game time for that one would be 7:30. 2 men on, 2 men out, second inning. Griffey with a hard smash to shortstop, but Baylor plays and throws to Flynn for the force out, and Zachary gets out of trouble for the second straight inning. No runs, 1 hit, 2 left. The Reds have stranded 5 in the first 2 innings. And after 1.5, Cincinnati and New York, no score. Get set for some exciting baseball coming up at Riverfront. The Reds will be back home next Wednesday for the start of the biggest homestand of the year. 13 games in a 12-day stretch. The Mets, the Phillies, the Cardinals, and the Braves will all be in town. While we have a minute, let's take a closer look at that Phillies series. It starts Friday, June 19th with a 7:35 game. 7 o'clock game on Saturday the 20th, and then the weekend winds up Sunday afternoon, June 21st. It's going to be a fun weekend. The Phillies are always a favorite opponent at Riverfront Stadium with the likes of Pete Rose and Mike Schmidt, Larry Boa, Steve Carlton. So make your plans now to be on hand for all the action and purchase your tickets in advance. Tom Seaver standing behind the mound, waiting for Dave Kingman to settle in. 13 home runs to lead the New York Mets in the power department with 31 RBIs and a .219 batting average. Kingman batting in the series, 2 hits and 8 times up, and both hits came last night. He takes it low, ball 1. In fact, Kingman had 2 hits, and Mookie Wilson had 2. They were 4 of the 6 that the Mets collected off of Mario Soto. Kingman takes ball 2. 2 balls and no strikes. Been pretty consistent in this series every time Kingman's been to the plate with the bases empty, which has been often. Ronnie Oster goes to the third base side of second along with Concepcion and Knight. 2-0 pitch. Kingman with a high, deep drive to left field, and Foster at the wall. It's gone. His 14th of the season, and the New York Mets, for the first time in this series, lead. It's 1-0. Seaver got behind 2-0 and had to come in on him, and Kingman took care of it. Homering into the Cincinnati bullpen in the left field, beyond the left field fence, and the Mets are up 1-0.
Marty, that was a fastball right out over the plate, and I think Tom just more or less challenging Kingman and didn't quite work. Missed by about 10 feet.
Here's Rusty Staub. Staub takes a strike. The first time in this series the Mets have led in the game. Staub hits a hard smash that Concepcion cannot get a base hit to center field. Well, back-to-back hits in the second for the Mets. A home run by Kingman, a single by Staub. The batter, third baseman Mike Cubbett. Cubbett batting .233 with 3 RBIs, up twice in the first 2 games with a hit. Mets have the Astros in for a series scheduled to begin here tomorrow night, and Houston is already in town. They finished their series in Philadelphia last night. And staying in the same hotel the Reds are staying in Manhattan. Saw a lot of them around the hotel today. Pitches in for a strike. Of course, the Phillies are off tonight before meeting the Atlanta Braves in Philadelphia tomorrow evening. So if baseball is continued, Pete Rose will have the shot going into that game of becoming the all-time National League career hit leader after tying Stan Musial's record last night with a first-inning single off Nolan Ryan. 1 ball and 1 strike on the left-handed batting Cubbage. One run is in. Rusty Staub stationed down at first base. He had a ground single to center. Nobody out. Number 41 to the plate, and Cubbage takes it inside. 2 balls and a strike. Well, Dave Kingman with home run number 14 of the season. That ties him for National League leadership with Philadelphia's Mike Schmidt. Cubbage ahead on the count as Seaver kicks and fires, and there's ball 3. Alex Trevino on deck. Danny Dreesen playing behind the runner Staub at first base. Swung on and fouled away. Straight back of the plate and back up into the third deck here. Mario Soto joining Seaver last night with a victory as 6-game winners on the Cincinnati pitching staff. Seaver, after his 252nd career win, he and Bob Gibson are tied for 30th place on the all-time victory list. Runner going, but Cubbage fouls it out of play down the left field line. Of course, Bob Gibson here, he is now a member of the Mets coaching staff. The man who Seaver is tied with, and Tom 2 wins away from Carl Hubble, who is next in line in 29th place with a career victory total of 253. But the Mets are leading 1-0. And a 3-ball, 2-strike count on Mike Cubbage. Dreesen now is on the bag. Staub breaking. The pitch is swung on, ripped into right field. Collins going back and now comes in a bit and moves off to his left to make the catch. Back to first goes Staub. There's one away, and here's the catcher, Trevino.
Number 29. The catcher, Alex.
Trevino batting .280 has knocked in 8 runs. First time we've seen him in the series. Right-handed batter and a young man that a lot of clubs have shown a lot of interest in over the last couple of years. He's regarded as a pretty good catcher and can swing that bat reasonably well. He lines one for a hit into center. Griffey plays it on the bounce as Staub moves to second base, and Seaver having a relatively unimpressive second inning. Home run by Kingman, base hit by Staub, a well-hit ball to right that Collins caught off the bat of Cubbage, and now a first-pitch line drive single to center field from Alex Trevino. Doug Flynn at the plate. Flynn checking in at .243 with a home run and 11 runs batted in. 0 for 7 so far in the series. Takes the ball low. Zachary now emerging from the New York dugout, moving to the on-deck circle. That's a check swing strike. Doug came out of the gate very hot when the season unfolded. He was up among the hit leaders for quite a while, but has, of late, simply been struggling at the plate. His batting average has plummeted all the way down to its current .243. Staub, the lead runner at second, with Trevino at first. One away. Seaver to the plate. Flynn swings. Fly ball right field. Collins almost in his tracks. Makes the catch. Staub bluffs to go to third, and Concepcion cuts off the throw, tumbling over Staub at second base, and almost caught him coming back into the bag. Maybe decoying Staub pretty well until the last second, hoping to maybe grab that throw from Collins and put the tag on him before he got back to second. The Zachary at the plate with 2 outs. Pat batting .238 this season. He's had 5 hits, all singles, has knocked in 2 runs. Ball to him. Each club now with 3 hits in the game. Pitcher against pitcher in the second, and Zachary swings and misses. 1 ball and 1 strike. Checking the pitch. Strike 2 swinging. Tell you, aside from the time when Pete Rose was on his 44-game hitting streak, there probably are almost as many media people right now in New York from the sports world and from all over the country as a result of the possible player strike than at any other time on the trips that we have made in here over the last 7-8 years. 2 balls, 2 strikes. Seaver trying to get Zachary and end the second for New York. He pitches, and Zachary takes strike 3, and that's the inning. Tom's second strikeout, a scoring inning for the Mets. 1 run, 3 hits. They leave a pair. And after 2 complete, New York 1, the Reds nothing. Dave Concepcion will lead off round number 3 for Cincinnati as the Reds enter this 3rd inning trailing New York 1-0. And here with a play-by-play, Joe Nuttall.
Thank you, Marty. Davey singled off the right thigh of Pat Zachary in the 1st inning. Gave a .308 batting average, 4 home runs and 44 RBIs. Dave second to George Foster in the National League in RBIs. George leads the league with 46. The Reds have had 3 hits off Zachary through the first 2 innings. Have stranded 5 base runners. Well, Dave Concepcion leads it off. At Montreal, the Expos leading the Braves 2-0, 3rd inning. The American League, Toronto leading Kansas City 4-2. Kansas City at bat in the top of the 4th. Zachary ready to work to Concepcion, and his breaking pitch misses outside. 21 of the game to be played tonight. That's Los Angeles at St. Louis. 1-0 pitch. A half-swing foul by Concepcion, and it evens at 1-1. Fernando Valenzuela will go for the Dodgers, and Silvio Martinez for the Cardinals. Zachary even to Concepcion, 1-1. Foster on deck, and then it'll be Danny Dreesen. Zachary delivers the 1-1. Outside, 2 balls a strike. Pat has walked 37 batters in 73 innings coming into tonight's game, and it struck out 41. The 2-1 delivery. Swung on, and a 1 bouncer to Cubbage at third. And his throw on to Staub, 1 away. 1 down, and George Foster steps in. George called out on strikes in the 1st inning.
George Foster.
Zachary's last start, he lost to the Houston Astros 6-2 in Houston when he allowed 10 hits and 6 runs in 3 and a 3rd inning. Walked 4 in that stretch. Foster steps in. Base is empty and an out. The pitch. George swings on a breaking ball and chops it foul at the plate. Danny Dreesen scheduled to bat next. Outfield playing George about straight away. Now Foster backs away from the plate. Now back in, and Trevino flashes a sign. The 0-1 to Foster. Fastball at the knees in the outside corner, and Zachary in front 0-2 to George. The 0-2 swung on and line foul by third base coach Russ Nixon. Russ having to turn to get out of the way of it. Count holds, no balls, 2 strikes. Zachary has the sign. Again, the 0-2. Change-up swung on and missed, and that's strikeout number 2 for Zachary, and both times it has been George Foster. So 2 away, and Danny Dreesen the batter. Danny walked in the first inning to load the bases before Ray Knight hit a fly ball to Valentine in right field to end the inning. Dan's batting average up to 210. He looks at a strike from Zachary. Zachary delivers the 0-1. Dreesen takes it high and outside. Now even as a ball a strike. Pitch on the way, swung on and foul down the left side. That'll settle back into the seat. Count holding in a ball, 2 strikes to Dreesen. Manning with 5 home runs and 21 RBIs. Zachary again, the 1-2. That's in the dirt. A change. 2 balls, 2 strikes. Zachary checking with Trevino, the 2-2. Swung on, and a fly ball hit into left center field. Moving over Mookie Wilson. He's there and makes the play, and for the first time in the game, the Reds out in order. Middle of the third, New York 1, Cincinnati nothing. For New York in the bottom half of the third, the top of the order, Wilson, Baylor, and Valentine to face Don Seaver. New York getting around in the second inning when Dave Kingman hit his 14th home run of the year on a 2-0 pitch. The ball just dropping over the fence in left field into the Cincinnati bullpen. Now, Mookie Wilson leads it off. Wilson called out on strikes, leading off the game for New York. Seaver delivers, Wilson takes, high and outside a ball. I'm back with a 1-0. Wilson swings and doesn't get it. 1-1. Kingman now tied with Mike Schmidt for the league lead in home runs at 14. Slow curve hangs high to Wilson. 2-1 to count. A wind of pitch. Wilson takes it inside. 3 balls to strike. Three-one delivery. Wilson takes strike 2 call. A full count now to Mookie Wilson. Payoff on the way. Wilson swings and fouls back to the street. Mike Lum, a good day yesterday for the Cubs in that second game win, 7-4 over the Giants. Mike went 3 for 3 with a home run. Pitch on the way. Wilson swings and grounds it up the middle, right between Seaver's legs and on into center field. Wilson makes the wide turn, and that's the 4th hit of the game for New York off Tom Seaver. And I bring Bob Baylor to the plate. Baylor in the first inning, a fly ball to Collins in right field. Wilson has 10 stolen bases. He has been caught 4 times. The Seaver throws over to first. Again the stretch and another throw over there, and Wilson again back. Ellis Valentine on deck. Seaver has struck out 2. Another throw to first, and this one sounded like it hit Wilson in the back. Mookie getting up and holding his lower back. Actually, the ball hit him, or Wilson will still be running. Tom sets again, throws to first, and again Wilson back safely. Bob Baylor to plate. Baylor a .250 batting average. Stretch in the pitch. Wilson goes. Here's Nolan's throw, and it's not near in time. Wilson has his 11th stolen base for the year. Mookie had a good jump, and he got down there quickly. Count to Bob Baylor, 0-1. That's such a called strike. Baylor sticking his bat out over the plate, trying to distract Joe Nolan. So Wilson now at second. Seaver has the sign from Nolan to stretch the pitch. Baylor bunts third base side. The ball rolling. Buffalo the ball with Seaver throwing quickly to Ron Oster, and Ron takes it on the long hop to retire Baylor. Good play by Tom Seaver and Ron Oster. So credit Baylor with a sacrifice. He is out 1-4. Milt Wilson moves on to third base, and the batter is Ellis Valentine. Valentine grounded to Concepcion in the first inning. Dave Kingman moves on deck. Manager Joe Torre trying to put another run on the scoreboard here tonight. Seaver works from the windup, and Valentine swings and pops it up. Shallow into center field. Griffey waiting on it and tagging as Wilson. He'll score easily, and it's 2-0 ball game. A very high pop into center field, and Wilson scores easily. Valentine gets his 17th RBI of the year, and the Mets lead it 2-0. Having Dave Kingman to the plate. Dave leading off the second inning, homered into the Reds bullpen, his 14th of the year. Seaver winds and delivers, and Kingman takes high and inside a ball. Two out, the Mets have scored a run here in the third. Lead it 2-0. Delivers. Kingman swings and misses a pitch down, and the count evens 1-1. One on the way. High. 2 balls to strike. That's infield. Oster to the left of second base. Outfield pulled around to the left. 2-1 delivery. High and inside. 3 balls to strike. Well, 3-1 to count to Dave Kingman. Seaver delivers the 3-1, and Kingman takes it. Owen inside a ball, and that's the first walk issued by Tom Seaver. Kingman moves on to first base, and the batter is Rusty Staub. Staub singled to center in the second inning. York leading 2-0. Kingman at first base leads. This throw over to first, and Dave steps back. The stretch in the pitch, and the slider misses inside to Staub. Ball one. Mike Cubbage, the on-deck batter. The 1-0 to Staub. Let's see, he takes the one inside again, and it's 2 balls, no strike. The Yankees score in the first inning at Chicago. White Sox at bat in the bottom half of the first. There goes Kingman. The pitch is swung on and missed. The throw down, not time, and Kingman has the stolen base. Dave with a running jump. For Kingman, that is his second stolen base of the year. A count 2-1 to Rusty Staub. Seaver looking to Nolan for the sign. He has it, the stretch, and the pitch. Staub takes strike 2 on the outside corner, and the count evens 2-2. Kingman at second leads. Dave walks and stole second. Seaver to the plate. Staub takes it inside. Full count. Tom waiting on the side. Takes one off. Now the stretch. And he steps back off the pitching rubber. Tom ready. And delivers the payoff. Staub swings and fouls it off to the left and back into the seats. Out holding. 3-2. Good crowd here at Shea Stadium tonight. Last night we had 10,352, and Tuesday night 13,331. Again, the 3-2 swung on, ground ball, foul off the first baseline. Ball not missing by much, but Dutch Renner, the first base umpire, holding up his hands right away. Count holds the 3 balls, 2 strikes to Rusty Staub. Seaver ready. And again the 3-2. Staub swings, fouls this one straight back. And ball hitting the glass behind home plate and bounding all the way out to the mound where Tom Seaver picks it up. Tom sets and delivers. Staub swings and a fly ball into right field. Waiting on it, moving in is Collins, and that's the inning. The Mets pick up another run in the inning on 1 hit. But no errors, and a runner left on at the end of 3. New York 2, Cincinnati nothing. Ray Knight will lead it off as the Reds bat in the 4th inning. Ray in the first, a fly ball to right with the bases loaded. Ray hitting .246, 5 home runs, and 18 RBIs. Now, Indianapolis at Oklahoma City tonight after 1 inning, no score. Charlie Lebrun on the mound for the Indians. Charlie was 1-1 and lost 5. Zachary delivers, and Knight takes a strike on the outside corner. Meanwhile, at St. Louis, George Hendrick, a 2-run homer in the first inning off Valenzuela, and the Cardinals 2-0 after 1. Zachary delivers the 0-1. Knight swings and grounds it into deep short. Cubby's backhand drops the ball, and Ray Knight, they'll get a base hit out of that one. I tell you, Cubbage was there, had it in his glove and ready to throw. Or make that Baylor, Bob Baylor, the shortstop. Cubbage is at third base. Oh, an infield single for Ray Knight, the 4th of the game for the Reds, and that'll bring Ron Oster to the plate. Ron grounded to Doug Flynn in the second inning, leading off. Oster, a .293 batting average with a home run, 25 RBIs. Zachary sets and delivers, and Oster swings and hits one well into right center field. They're not going to get to that one. Knight around second. It bounces off the wall. Right to third. Knight being waved in. He's going to score. Oster on his way to third. The throw is not in time, and it's a 2-1 ball game. 5th triple of the year for Ron Oster. He has 26 RBI, and the Reds are back in it just like that. Ray Knight scoring all the way from first base, and Oster with a headlong slide into third, and he represents the tying run to Joe Nolan, the batter. Five hits now for the Reds in the game.
The catcher, Joe Torre.
Okay, Wilson fielding the ball off the fence, going to Bob Baylor, but the throw a bit high, and Oster in safely at third. The stretch by Zachary of the pitch, and Nolan swings, stands at the center field, a base hit. He's 2 for 2, and it's a tie ball game. Oh, 3 straight hits here in the inning ties it up. That'll bring Tom Seaver to the plate. Tom sacrificed in the second inning, moving Nolan to second base. Joe Nolan gets his 10th RBI of the year. The Reds tied up at 2-2. Right now, Rusty Staub talking with Pat Zachary at the mound. He heads back to first base. Cubbage, the New York third baseman, already on the grass, looking for the bunt. The stretch by Zachary, and the pitch. Seaver bunts first base side, but foul. Score tied 2-2. Nolan at first base, nobody out. Oh, over to first. Nolan steps back. The Reds as a team with 24 or 33 sacrifice bunts. Tom squares the bunt and swings away as Staub started toward home and then checked when he saw Tom drawing back the swing. The count 0-2. Zachary to the belt and delivers. And Seaver again swings and misses as he squares the bunt and came back to swing. And Zachary has his third strikeout, one away, and Dave Collins the batter. Collins 0 for 1 officially. In the first inning, he put on a bunt. The ball just a few feet in front of the plate where Savino fielded and threw him out, and then he walked in the second inning. Reds scoring 2 here in the inning so far, and have tied it up 2-2. Zachary ready and delivers. Collins takes it low and outside the ball. Rusty Staub playing off the bag and in front of Joe Nolan. Zachary The 1-0 to Collins. Dave takes it under the knees. It's 2 balls, no strikes. Well, Montreal has picked up another run and now leads the Braves 3-0. Atlanta bat in the 5th. Zachary ready for 2-0. Collins swings it, grounds it hard into right field. That's a base hit. Nolan moves on to second. He'll hold right there, and that's 4 hits now in the inning, and we might see some activity down in the New York bullpen. Dave's first hit, and now Rube Walker, the pitching coach of the Mets, will take a walk to the mound to have a word with Pat Zachary. The inning started off with Knight singling in the hole at shortstop. Then the first pitch delivered to Ron Oster. He tripled to right center field, scoring Knight. Then Oster scored when Nolan singled to center field. Seaver struck out, and now the single by Dave Collins brought Rube Walker out of the New York dugout. He's still at the mound talking with Trevino and Pat Zachary. There's no activity as yet down in the New York bullpen. Walker back to the Mets dugout, and Kenny Griffey the batter. Kenny singled the first to right, and then a hard ground ball to Baylor at short to force Collins to end the second inning. Kenny hitting .294. A home run, 16 RBI. Zachary ready and delivered. And Griff swings and hits one into shallow center field. Coming on is Wilson. He's there, and he has it 2 away. Two down, Dave Concepcion, the batter. Dave won for 2 in the first inning. Hit a hard one bouncer back to the mound and struck Zachary on the right side, bounced towards shortstop. Dave reaching first, and then in the third inning, he bounced to Cubbage at third base. Tied up 2-2. The Reds with Nolan at second, Collins at first, and 2 away. The Reds have had 4 hits here in the inning. Zachary to the belt, delivers to Davian. It's swung on and missed. 0-1. Outfield playing Concepcion straight away. He with 4 home runs on the year and 44 RBI. The 0-1 delivery. Check swing, and he goes too far. Zachary in front, 0-2 now to Concepcion. Now Davey goes to the on-deck circle to get the pine tar rag from George Foster. Nolan the second leads, Collins at first. Zachary has the sign from Trevino, the stretch, and the pitch. That's high, a fastball, not missing by much, and the count goes a ball, 2 strikes to Davis. Cubbage deep at third. Baylor deep at short. The 1-2 pitch. Chain swung on and missed. And it's 4 strikeouts for Zachary, but the Reds get 2 in the inning on 4 hits for no errors. 2 runners left on base, and at the middle of the 4th, the Reds 2 and the Mets 2. Now we're tied up 2-2 as the Mets bat in the bottom half of the 4th inning. It'll be Mike Cubbage, Alex Trevino, and Doug Flynn to face Tom Seaver. The Mets scoring a run in the second on Kingman's home run. They picked up a run in the third when Wilson singled, stole second. Moved to third on a sacrifice by Baylor, and he scored on Valentine's sacrifice fly to center field. Cubbage in the second inning, a fly ball to Collins in right field. Mike hitting .233, 3 RBIs and 2 doubles. Cubbage a left-handed batter. Seaver waiting on Cubbage to settle in. Into the line and the pitch. Cubbage takes it down low, a ball. 2-2 the score here in the 4th inning. The Reds trying to sweep the 3 games from the Mets and extend their winning streak to 7 straight. Seaver is 1-0. Cubbage swings and hits it hard to right field, with Collins moving toward the line, is able to make the play. A 1 away, and Alex Trevino, the batter. Trevino single to center in the second inning. Trevino, a right-handed batter. Seaver to the plate. Trevino takes low and outside a ball. Back for the 1-0. Trevino swings and misses. Tried to check his swing on a slider low on outside. Count evens 1-1. On the 1-1. Strike 2 called, an off-speed pitch, and Seaver in front of ball 2 strikes. And Tom looks to be picking up ahead of steam. He delivers the 1-2. That's strike 3 called. 3rd strikeout for Seaver, 2 away, and the batter is Doug Flynn. That's a fly ball to Collins in right in the second inning. Flynn, a .243 batting average, a home run, 11 RBIs. Seaver winds and the pitch. Check swing ground ball, rolls foul off the first baseline. Danny Dreesen fields the ball and returns it to Seaver. Seaver getting Trevino on a changeup for a called 3rd strike. Winds the 0-1. Swung on and looped into shallow right center. Going out, Oster has room, and Ron makes the play, and for the second time in the game, Seaver has retired the Mets in order. And after 4, Reds 2, New York 2. 4 innings total to show the Reds 2 runs, 7 hits, and no errors. The New York Mets 2 runs, 4 hits, and no errors. For the Reds, it'll be George Foster to lead it off as they bat the 5th, and back for the action. Here's Marty.
Thank you, Joe. You know, I wonder how Johnny's doing.
The man bench?
Yes, sir.
Well, let's see. It's 9:17. I would say that JP is sitting back, very relaxed, enjoying this fine broadcast of his favorite team.
I'm sure he is.
Yes.
Thank you. Here's Foster. It's been all Pat Zachary against George in this game. Twice he has struck him out, once looking in the 1st and swinging in the 3rd. Now the Reds come off the mat in the 4th inning to score twice and tie the score. Here comes Zach's pitch, and Foster swings and he misses. At the end of 2 in St. Louis, Cardinals 2, Dodgers nothing. George Hendrick, a 2-run homer in the 1st, number 10 of the year for the Cardinal outfielder. Foster now steps away from the plate. Zachary's been touched for 7 home runs. And that equals the number that Randy Jones has thrown up. Make that 6 homers that Zachary has allowed. Jones gave up his 7th last night to Foster. George swings and again misses. Quickly, no balls and 2 strikes. Danny Dreesen on deck to be followed by Ray Knight. Foster's 46 RBIs lead the major leagues, but boy, Buddy Bell, you talk about coming in a hurry. Over with the Texas Rangers, he is jumped up over the 40 mark. Foster takes the pitch inside for a ball. In fact, he had 5 RBIs last night in the 12-5 win over Milwaukee, including a home run. He has 43 runs batted in this season. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Foster strikes out swinging. That's the 3rd time Zachary has gotten him. And for Pat Overall, his 5th strikeout. Facing Danny Dreesen, who walked in the 1st and fly to center in the 3rd.
Marty, you talk about change-ups in our league, and I know we feel that Mario Soto's got the best in the league, but I tell you, Pat Zachary's is right there with it.
Well, he, of course, came to the big leagues with the Reds with a reputation of having an awful good one, and he's kept it with him all these years. There's ball 1. A 2-2 tie, top half of the 5th. Now Zachary goes to the windup, and Dreesen calls time with plate umpire Lee Wire. The Red Cedar Rapids Club came up with a doubleheader victory over Burlington last night, 6-4 in 10 in game 1, 8-2 in the second game. In the opener, outfielder Ken Scarpace from Western Michigan University had a 2-run homer to tie it in the 7th, sending the game to extra innings. And then catcher Dave Miley won it with a bases-loaded single in the 10th inning. 2 balls and no strikes. Zachary deals, Dreesen takes, and that's over. Strike 1 called. Dreesen waving the bat around. As Zachary checks with Trevino, he pitches, and Danny takes ball 3. That's below the knees, a breaking ball. In the American League at the end of 5 in Toronto, the Blue Jays 5, the Kansas City Royals 3. Martinez a homer for the Jays. McRae home run number 4 for Kansas City. Zachary behind and pitching to Dreesen, and Danny takes ball 4, and he's on. The 2nd time that Zachary has walked the Reds first baseman, and his 3rd walk overall. The batter Ray Knight got things going in the 2-run 4th inning with an infield single deep in the hole at shortstop, and then scored all the way from first base on Ron Oster's triple to deep right center. After 2.5 in Milwaukee, Brewers 1, Rangers nothing. Gorman Thomas home run number 15 in the 2nd. Pete Vukovich going after his 8th win of the season for the Brewers against Ferguson Jenkins. The Yankees and the White Sox are tied up at 1-1 after an inning and a half. Lou Piniella homered in the 1st for New York, his 2nd. Doug Bird 5-0 against Steve Trout. Dreesen running. Knight swinging and fouls it off the end of the bat. In the bottom of the 2nd in Minnesota, Twins 2, Tigers nothing. Pete Redfern against Dan Petrie. And 2 late games will have Baltimore at Seattle and Boston at California.
Phone call for Nels Erickson. Nels Erickson, phone call.
Reds have out hit the Mets 7-4. Neither team has committed an error, and we've got Dreesen aboard through a 1-out walk. Zachary delivers, and Knight bunts 3rd base side. Fair ball, still fair, and now foul as it rolls across the line, maybe 5 or 6 feet short of the 3rd base bag. Knight will come back with a count of no balls and 2 strikes on him. Reds trying to extend their winning streak to 7 in a row. This is already the 2nd best winning streak of the season. Last month they ran off 8 straight. They won 7 of their last 8, 11 of their last 14, and 16 out of their last 20. And being 13 over the 500 mark, their best total of the season. Reds win tonight, the Dodger lost, and we're only a half a game back. And the Cardinals have the early lead at St. Louis over L.A. and Fernando Valenzuela 2-0. Knight back at the batter's box, and Zachary ready to pitch again. But first he'll throw to first, driving Dreesen back. Pitch. Just missed with it, and Knight almost went too far. Was able to hold up on the swing. Ronnie Oster coming up next. This game in the top half of the 5th inning. Another throw to first, but this one just a lob throw on to Rusty Staub. This will probably be the best crowd of the 3 nights that the Reds have spent here in New York, and I would imagine many of them here because of Tom Seaver's presence on the mound for the Cincinnati team. 1-2 and holding on Knight, and another throw to first, and this one had a purpose behind it as Zachary really brought it over there to Staub. Well, Pat Zachary waging a war on 2 fronts with Dreesen at first with Knight at the plate in a 2-2 game in the 5th inning. 1 man out, the infield at double play depth. Zachary stretches and steps off the pitching rubber. Danny, meanwhile, edging a little bit farther off the bag against the holding Staub. And the throw to first again and safe again. Zachary 5 wins, 6 losses, and a .432 earned run average. He's been healthy this season, which is a departure from the way much of his career has gone since leaving Cincinnati and coming to New York. He's had a number of injuries that have kept him out of a lot of starts. Knight strikes out swinging on a changeup, and that's number 6 of the night for Mr. Zachary. He struck out Foster, he walked Dreesen, he fans Knight. And Ronnie Oster, 1 for 2. His first hit in this series, a big one, a 4th inning triple to deep right center field that knocked in a run, his 26th of the year. And he later scored the tying run when Nolan singled into center field. Three years ago, Pat suffered a fracture of his left foot when he kicked the dugout step after being taken out of a game here with the Reds. And was on the disabled list the rest of the season. There's a throw to first again to Staub. Prior to that, he was on the way to what possibly would have been his best year in the big leagues. He had already picked up 10 victories at the time of the injury. He's working to Oster, and Ronnie takes it high and away for a ball. 1979, his season was again curtailed by injury. Before he went out with the elbow problems, he had a couple of victories against the Cubs and the Phillies, but then developed a tingling sensation in his right elbow and was on the disabled list with a irritation of the ulnar nerve. So Pat Zachary has had more than his share of physical problems. 2-0 the count. Another throw to first base as Zachary continues to pay attention to Danny Dreesen, who drew the 1-out walk. Oster batting .295 after his 5th triple of the season last inning. That's right-hander with a motion. He kicks, fires. Oster takes a high fastball, 3-0. Zachary has struck out 6. He's walked 3. Ronnie Oster looking at a straightaway New York outfield as he bids to get on with the second walk of the inning. Indianapolis trailing Oklahoma City 1-0 at the end of 2. Oklahoma City with a run in the second inning. Dreesen running, pitches taken high, ball 4. So 2 men on with 2 men out as we pause for station identification on the Cincinnati Reds Baseball Network.
Country music fans, you'll not want to miss the K95 Country Countdown each and every Sunday morning from 9 a.m. until noon. Your host, Greg Shepard, count down the top 30 tunes here in K95 Country. K95 Country Countdown, WHOK-FM, Lancaster.
Here's Joe Nolan, who delivered the tying run home in the 4th inning with a single, and Joe's 2 for 2 tonight. His batting average has jumped back over 300. It stands at 301. Takes it down and in for a ball. Zachary looking out into the on-deck circle where he sees Tom Seaver, and now he's going to receive a visit to the mound from pitching coach Rube Walker. Forest Park's annual community night with the Reds, that's coming up on Thursday, June the 25th, when the Reds meet the Cardinals. We'll look forward to seeing all the folks from Forest Park at the stadium that night. So Zachary, after picking up a strikeout, walked Dreesen, and after another strikeout has walked Ron Oster. 2 men on, 2 men out in a 2-2 game, and Nolan looking for his third straight hit. That RBI in the fourth, his 10th of the season. Here's a right-hander with a 1-0 to the plate. Swung on, ground ball to second. Doug Flynn kicks it around, recovers, and throws to first in plenty of time. No runs in the inning, no base hits, 2 men left on. After 4.5, the Reds and the Mets all locked in at 2 runs apiece.
Get to me that time of the year again, Summer Fair in Cincinnati. It happens just one weekend every summer on our beautiful Cincinnati riverfront. This year it's June 13th and 14th. And again this year, Conn's Wieners and Franks are the official hot dog of Summer Fair. Now, why was Conn's selected as the official hot dog? Well, for the very same reason that Conn's is the only hot dog served at Riverfront Stadium. Because at Conn's, great meat makes great wieners. And you know, Conn's is not only the hot dog of the Cincinnati Reds. Conn's hot dogs are also featured at Riverfront Coliseum, at the Convention Center, the Cincinnati Zoo, Shea Stadium in New York, Three Rivers Stadium in Pittsburgh, and Rupp Arena in Lexington. Conn's hot dogs are featured at so many quality places because they are a quality product. And naturally, they're the official hot dog of Cincinnati Summer Fair, featuring quality entertainment. So plan the weekend, June 13th and 14th, for fun at Cincinnati Summer Fair on the riverfront. Enjoy arts and crafts, music and sunshine, and Conn's hot dogs at Summer Fair. Park free at the stadium.
Have you made your vacation plans this year? Maybe you're thinking about staying a little closer to home, maybe driving less, watching your dollars a little more carefully. If so, may we suggest a trip to Cincinnati to see some Reds baseball at Riverfront Stadium and to enjoy all the other fine attractions and things to do in the Queen City. If you need a schedule and ticket mail order information, just give a call to the Reds office. And if you'd like some other information about things like hotels, motels, restaurants, and all the things to see and do in Cincinnati, just tell the Reds and they'll be happy to see that information is sent your way. Give a call or drop a note to Cincinnati Reds, Riverfront Stadium, Cincinnati, Ohio. Pat Zachary will be first up for the Mets in the home half of the fifth inning. Seaver got him on a strikeout in the second, one of 3 strikeouts that Tom has recorded tonight. Went into this start 6 on the all-time strikeout list and now has a total of 3,036. Pitch is in for a strike. Well, we've got a correction on that Indy-Oklahoma City score. Indianapolis is leading 1-0 with a run in the second, and that game now is in the top half of the fourth inning at Oklahoma City. That team, the Philadelphia Philly AAA Farm Club. Zachary takes it high, a fastball, 1-1. They're through 3 in St. Louis. Cards 2, Dodgers nothing. Zachary taking strike 2. With a complete game by Mario Soto last night, that gives the Reds 5 in the last 6 games, and it's interesting to note. Pitch is outside for a ball that the Reds now have a total of 15 complete games this season. And that is second best in the National League, 2 behind the leading Dodgers. 2 balls, 2 strikes, or make that 3-2 on Zachary. Now the Dodgers, as a pitching staff, have 17 complete games. The Reds are second with 15. And Zachary hits one into right center field, and Griffey will get there to make the catch. For the third time tonight, it'll be center fielder Mookie Wilson at the plate. In the first, he struck out. In the third, he singled, stole a base, and came in to score. So 1 for 2 tonight and 3 for 9 so far in the series. Wilson's batting .285 with a home run and 7 RBIs. He bunched at it, lost the bat, made contact. Nolan hung on to it, strike one. This is a young man whose reputation preceded him to the major leagues. He had some fine numbers in the Mets minor league organization. Ground ball, and that's a fair ball by first down the right field line. Wilson can motor. He's coming to second. He's going to take the turn and hold right there as the ball bounced into the seats, apparently. So Mookie Wilson, who had designs on third base, and he can flat fly. Now, I'll tell you, being forced to stop at second as Dave Collins pointed into the seats as if to indicate that either somebody reached over and picked the ball off or the ball bounced in there. It's out of our line of vision where we're located. On the press level here at Shea, Joe Torre is out saying something to first base umpire Dutch Rennert, who in turn goes to plate umpire Lee Wire. And now Dutch has gone back to Joe Torre.
I don't know what Joe is saying, other than he's saying that Mookie would have been a third, but that's an absolute ground rule double. Anytime the fan interferes with the ball like that, it's a ground rule double. It could be all the way to home, but I think that I might be wrong in this, but as far as I know, it's an out-and-out ground.
This when you're playing in your home park. Joe Torre knows that as well as anybody. I guess he figures, what the heck, I'll take a shot. You never know what might happen.
How true.
So the go-ahead runs at second. One away in the inning. Bob Baylor is 0 for 1 with a sacrifice bunt. Seaver with a look to second, the pitch to the plate, and Baylor is down a strike. Check swing foul ball that'll bounce past the Mets dugout. I'll tell you, there's some fellas in this league that can really air it out on those bases. First time we've really gotten a chance to watch Mookie Wilson do his thing, and think about him and Tim Raines up at Montreal. Gary Templeton, who's no slouch in that department. Davey Lopes, who's been doing it for years in the league. Dave Collins. This one fouled out of play. The National League certainly has its share of young men who can motor on the bases. Of course, Raines just walking away with the stolen base race in the National League. He's now swiped 48. Billy North, who can pick him up and lay him down, is second with 25, and Rodney Scott of Montreal 22. Here comes Wilson at third. Ball has popped up. Now Wilson has to right himself. Ronnie Oster will make the catch, and Wilson had time to straighten himself out and get back to second base, but he was on his way toward trying to steal third base, and was on his way with a pretty good shot at it.
I would say he was there. Without a doubt.
I would agree with you. 2 down, Ellis Valentine at the plate, and he has driven in a New York run with a sacrifice fly in the third inning. He's knocked in 17. Seaver trying to keep the 2-2 tie intact. Valentine rips it foul back upstairs. Well, we've had 2 pretty good ball games here at Shea Stadium. The 8-4 Reds win Tuesday night would not reflect that fact, unless you knew the facts, but it was a 4-4 game until the Reds broke the tie with 4 in the 9th inning. Check swing, low and away. And, of course, last night, Randy Jones was outstanding in a losing effort. In fact, the Mets out-hit the Reds 6-5, but Cincinnati got the home run from Foster and the run-producing single by Concepcion to win it behind Soto. Strike 2 call to Valentine. Tonight, we're tied up at 2. Mets got runs in the second and the third. The Reds tied it up in the fourth. And about hit New York 7-5. 1 ball, 2 strikes, Valentine, and the pitch, and he strikes out swinging. Seaver gets number 4. And the Met numbers in the 5th, no runs, a hit. Wilson left at second through 5 complete. The Reds 2, the Mets likewise.
Waiting for you. Head for the mountain. Head for the mountain. Head for the bush beat. Head for the mountain. Head for the bush beat.
Joe Nutsall, yours truly, Marty Brenneman, back at Shea Stadium in New York City as we move on to the 6th inning. Tom Seaver coming out of the dugout and heading toward the plate to start things off against Pat Zachary, who has been in trouble more often than not tonight. The Reds have stranded 9 runners, left the bases loaded in the 1st inning, strand 2 in the 2nd. The only easy inning that he's had, Zachary, was in the 3rd when he retired the side in 1-2-3 fashion. Gave up 2 runs on 4 hits with 2 left in the 4th. There's a ball to Seaver, and then walked 2, but got out of that jam in the 5th inning by getting Nolan to ground out to second. So it's not been an easy night for Pat Zachary. Seaver is sacrificed and is struck out. One-0 pitch. High, ball 2. Seaver, one of 2 Reds pitchers to have clouded home runs this season. He pops this one up behind the plate. Coming back is Trevino, and reaching into the seats has no play at all. It's about 4 rows back. Tom homered against the Houston Astros while pitching a shutout that particular game at Riverfront Stadium, and then Doug Baer had that big 3-run home run at Wrigley Field a few weeks ago. Two balls and a strike as pitcher faces pitcher in the 6th inning. Seaver with a pop-up that'll be playable. The 3rd baseman Cubbage calling, waiting for that one to come down. 1 out. Now Dave Collins, who's 1 for 2, has been on twice. He's walked and he's singled. Thrown out trying to bunt his way on in the 1st inning. I'd like to send along our best tonight to Reds fans listening on WLAP in Lexington, Kentucky, WHIO in Dayton, Ohio, WAVE in Louisville, Kentucky, and WIFE in Indianapolis, Indiana. Collins takes a 1-bouncer that gets away from Trevino. Art Howe continues to lead the National League in batting with a .344 average, and Pete Rose is second now at .330, along with Pedro Guerrero of the Dodgers. He's continued to hit all season. Billy Madlock up there. Collins has dropped down to the top 10. He's hitting at .311. He swings and pops it up back of 3rd. Foul territory. Racing over is Kingman, Baylor, and the ball falls out of play. One ball and 1 strike. Zachary coming in off the mound now to get a new baseball and also have a word or two with Lee Wire. In the 7th inning at Montreal, the Expos are trying to rout the Braves for the 3rd straight night, leading 7-0. Expos have been in double figures the first 2 games of that series and got 4 runs in the 6th inning tonight to, in all likelihood, blow that game wide open. Pitch is high and outside a ball, so the Expos, in going home, have gotten well all of a sudden. The Reds swept them over the weekend at Riverfront Stadium, but now they go back home and are on their way to a 3rd consecutive victory over Atlanta. 2 balls and a strike on Collins. Checks his swing. It's high. 3-1. Ken Griffey on deck with 1 out in the 6th. Zachary kicks and he fires. Collins swings and bounces towards second. Flynn charges, plays, throws, out. 2 away. The batter, Ken Griffey, had a base hit in the first inning, but since has hit into a force out and fly to center.
And now the center fielder, Ken Griffey.
Zachary, once earlier tonight, has retired the Reds in order. Trying to do it for the second time as he's up with his pitch of ball to Griffey. That's low and inside. 2 balls and no strikes. Griffey rips one by Doug Flynn. That's in the center field for a base hit. Hit number 8 tonight for Cincinnati, and the second for Griffey as the inning continues for shortstop Dave Concepcion. Davey has had an infield hit, bounced out third to first, and struck out. Hey, it's not hard to see why the Reds have the team batting average that they have this season, a batting average of .271. You look at those leading the National League in total base hits. Rose was 73, but then Collins and Concepcion were tied for second going into play tonight with 66. Foster was tied for third with 65. And the 2 hits that Griffey has had in the game now give him 66. 4 players off the Cincinnati ball club. There's a ball to Concepcion. Collins, Concepcion, Foster, and Griffey. Kenny at first, 2 out. Throw by Zachary to first base. Zachary brings his hands down to the belt, throws to first, safe again. Now we're 14 minutes to 10 o'clock in New York, as you are in Cincinnati. I've heard nothing insofar as what might be happening at the negotiating session in downtown Manhattan. That's up high for a ball, 2-0. Zachary has started to fall behind quite a bit now on the hitters. Mike Cubbage was playing in a bit at third base, but he is now backed up to play a deep position there. 2 balls, no strikes. On to Staub, Griffey safe. The call from Dutch Renner. Reds and the Mets are tied up at 2-2 as Cincinnati bats in the 6th inning. Zachary retired the first 2 before Griffey singled to center. And he throws to first again. Zach apparently feeling that Griffey may well be running on the next pitch with Concepcion out ahead 2-0. Trevino hangs a sign. Here comes the pitch. Swing and a miss. I'll tell you, the way the Cubs have been playing of late, they are slowly but surely creeping up on the 5th place New York team. The victory today by Chicago over the Giants gives them a record of 15-37. New York is 17-33. Hard smash, but third baseman Cubbage bobbles the ball and will not have a play. Ball was hit hard, but at him. He booted it away toward the foul line behind third. And everybody is safe, and Foster comes to the plate as Rube Walker heads back toward the mound. Ball was hit very hard by Davey, but did not appear to be a difficult ball for Cubbage to play, and he's going to be charged with an error. So the Reds posing a 2-out threat on a single by Griffey. Concepcion's on through the error by Mike Cubbage. Rube Walker, who's been to the mound a couple of times previous to this one, goes back to the dugout, and we may see some activity up in the New York bullpen. George Foster has struck out 3 straight times. Looks like right-hander Dyer Miller has started to throw now in the New York bullpen. Runners leading at first and second, 2 out. Foster takes the pitch wide of the plate, ball 1. George trying to get the go-ahead runs in. And swings and misses. Zachary has pitched George about as well as you can pitch him. He's kept the ball pretty effectively away from him. That pitch was out away from the right-handed batter, and it's a ball and a strike. Griffey second, Concepcion first. Pitch, Zachary swung on, fly ball, hit back into left field. Kingman going back, got a chance, gone! Foster drills a 1-1 pitch on a line into the Cincinnati bullpen. Home run number 14, and the Reds lead it 5-2. That one got out of here right now.
It was hard to say if it was going to be high enough. I knew he got it. It was right there for him, but whether it was going to be high enough, it was, though.
He has now knocked in 49 runs with that 3-run blast to left field, and the Reds lead by 3. So Foster more than makes up for those 3 strikeouts with a blast that breaks the tie. Danny Dreesen takes ball 1. Well, you've got a 3-way tie for home run leadership in the league now. 2 balls and no strikes. Foster, Kingman, and Schmidt have all hit 14 home runs. Zachary delivers, and Dreesen takes a strike. 2-1. All of it coming after the first 2 men had been retired. Zachary was looking for an easy 6, but it has certainly not turned out that way. Danny fouls this one onto the screen. 2-2. Top half of the 6th inning from St. Louis. Cardinals 2, Dodgers nothing. Dreesen fouls this one off the left field line and well back into the seats. Second home run that Foster's hit in as many nights. Here's a high fly ball. Headed back into deep right, but on the warning track and waiting is Valentine. That ends the inning. The out came 1 batter too late as far as Zachary and company are concerned. 3 runs, 2 hits, 1 error. And after 5.5, the Reds over the Mets 5-2.
It's good to be back here again. Ball game in Cincinnati again. That's where my heart has always been. With the Cincinnati Reds playing baseball again.
Baseball is like an old friend. The longer it's part of your life, the more you like it. That's why so many people come out to see the Cincinnati Reds play. It feels good. The Marathon Oil Company loves baseball just like you do. And the Marathon Oil Company is proud to be here with the Cincinnati Reds.
It's good to be back here again.
Oh, you know it is.
With the Cincinnati Reds playing baseball again.
The Cincinnati Reds and the Marathon Oil Company. We got together to do it better. And we did.
Hope you're looking forward to being at Riverfront for a fun-filled special day coming up next Thursday night. That'll be Cost Cutter night when the Reds meet the Mets. The Reds and Kroger are teaming up to give away more than $12,000 in groceries. 50 lucky fans will win $100 worth of groceries. Another 50 winners will take home $50, and 125 fans will be $20 winners. And don't forget those delicious Conn's hot dogs, just a quarter that night at stadium concession stands. We'll be telling you about lots of other things, too, in the days leading up to Cost Cutter night when the Reds meet the Mets next Thursday. Dave Kingman to lead off the bottom half of the sixth inning for New York. He hit his 14th home run of the year, leading off the second, and then walked in the third. The Mets looking at a 3-run deficit. Here comes Seaver's pitch to him, and Kingman takes it low and in on him, ball one. That's over at the knees, the call strike. Kingman, despite his .222 batting average, has one of the better slugging percentages in the National League at .482. He swings and he misses. George Foster, fourth in the league in that department with a slugging percentage of .558. Andre Dawson of Montreal leads the league .592. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Seaver strikes him out swinging. The ball gets away from Nolan. He recovers and throws on to Dreesen to complete the strikeout. Tom Seaver gets his fifth as he disposes of Dave Kingman and will go to work on first baseman Rusty Staub. Staub is single. He's fly to right field. Well, the Reds have just announced they've signed their number 4 pick in the free agent draft, Paul O'Neill, an outfielder, first baseman, 6'4", 195-pounder from Brookhaven High School in Columbus, Ohio. Oh, another youngster in the fold, so to speak. Staub takes a slow breaking ball for strike one. Prior to that, they signed their number 12 selection, Charles Coleclaw, a first baseman outfielder from Lydia, South Carolina, and their number 28 pick, Thomas Tiller, a third baseman from Greeley, Colorado. High ball, 1-1 to Staub. Reds 5, Mets 2. Home sixth inning, 1 out. Staub with a big bouncing ball to first. Dreesen backhands it, takes a left turn, gets a put out. 2 away. There's another fine play by Dreesen. We talked, as Joe mentioned with Danny the other night on the post-game show, about his defensive ability at first base, and sometimes you almost have to wonder if the fact that he makes it look so easy doesn't work against him.
Something's working against him. I think Danny said it best, though, and he said it's a popularity contest.
I don't think there's any question about that. There's ball 1 to Cubbage. Fly to right field twice, and both times he's hit the ball hard. 2 balls, no strikes. Tom Seaver working toward what he hopes to be win number 7 of the season, and he's had some touch-and-go innings tonight. Cubbage takes a strike at the knees. Nobody currently throwing in the Mets bullpen, so you figure Zachary's going to be out there for at least one more. Cubbage fouls, out of play, behind the plate. Good catch by a fan down to our left. 2 balls, 2 strikes. 2 outs, the bases are empty. Well, no sooner do we say the lack of activity in the Mets bullpen than They are now going to get some with left-hander Ray Searage. Ball 3. Sharp breaking ball down and in. Full count. Seaver ready to bring the payoff pitch up there. Cubbage lines to Dreesen right at him. That's 3 times in a row. Mike Cubbage has hit the ball hard and has nothing to show for it. The Mets are out in order and through 6. The Reds 5, New York 2.
How do you make a good thing better? This is Beverly Ames with great news for all you Reds fans. It's New Made's 16-ounce Red Stadium tumbler, and it's packed full of New Made soft margarine. That's right, 1 full pound of fresh dairy flavor in your choice of 2 Reds tumblers. You can't miss them. Each has the official Reds emblem, Riverfront Stadium, and good old Mr. Red. The Red Stadium tumbler is unbreakable, great for the kids, reusable, and it's dishwasher safe. Take it on a picnic or take it to the game. New Made soft margarine in the Red Stadium tumbler. It's an unbeatable combination. Fresh dairy flavor from New Made. Fresh dairy flavor in the Red tumbler. Another not-so-secret from New Made margarine. Spread it around at your house.
We'll pause again for station identification on the Cincinnati Reds Baseball Network.
It's good times each weekday between 2 and 6 here at K95. It's the MD Show. 2 until 6 each weekday afternoon, MD plays great kickin' country music and passes along the daily dumb rhetorical question at K95, WHOK-FM, Lancaster.
7th inning with Ray Knight to lead it off. 5-2 the Reds lead, and back with a play-by-play. Here's Joe.
Thank you, Marty. Ray Knight will lead it off here in the 7th inning. The Reds leading 5-2. Pat Zachary delivers, and Knight looks at a strike. Ray 1 for 3 tonight, and an infield single in the 4th scored the first run of the game for the Reds. The Reds getting a little help from the Mets in the 6th inning when Cubbage bobbled the ground ball off the bat of Concepcion, would have been the final out. Knight looks at strike 2, and then Foster hit a line drive over the 358 sign in left field into the Reds bullpen for a 3-run homer and a 3-run lead for the Reds. Zachary in front, 0-2 to Ray Knight. Ron Oster on deck. Now Knight backs away from the plate. Ray is still out of the batter's box now, steps back in. Zachary delivers the 0-2, high and inside as Knight backs away. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Dyer Miller sawing down in the New York bullpen. Outfield straight away tonight. Zachary delivers the 1-2, and Knight swings and fouls off to the right and back into the seats. Count hold to the ball, 2 strikes to Ray Knight. Reds have out hit the Mets 9-5. Zachary delivers the 1-2, and Knight swings in a ground ball. Baylor at short plays it, going on to Staub. 1 away. One out, and Ron Oster the batter. Ron 1 for 2 and a walk. He tripled in the 4th inning to right center to drive in Knight, and then scored on Dolan's single to center. Ron walked in the 5th inning. Dodgers score a run, swinging a foul by Oster, and with the Cardinals batting the bottom of the half to 6, St. Louis leading the Dodgers 2-1. Zachary shakes off a sign, and the 0-1 inside. A ball, a strike. One out, base is empty. Zachary back for the 1-1. That's down low, and it's 2 balls to strike to Oster. Ron hitting .295. Now has 5 triples and 26 RBIs. Zachary delivers the 2-1, and Oster swings and sends it down the left field line. Moving over is Dave Kingman, and in fair territory, he makes the play. Well, 2 out, and Joe Nolan, the batter. Joe 2 for 3, singled in the second and singled in the fourth, as we said, to drive in Oster. In the 5th inning, he grounded to Flynn at second.
Now the catcher, Joe Torre.
Zachary winds and delivers. Nolan takes it inside a ball. Foster has driven in 3 runs tonight. Oster 1 and Nolan 1. Zachary to the plate. Nolan swings and lines it in right center field. That's extra bases. Chasing it to the wall is Valentine. He's up with the ball, and Nolan into second base with his 3rd base hit of the game. For Joe, his 9th double of the year. Oh, with 2 out, Nolan at second. Tom Seaver, the batter. That's the 10th hit of the game for the Reds. Seaver 0 for 2 on a sacrifice bunt. He had a sacrifice bunt in the 2nd inning. Struck out in the 4th, and in the 6th inning, pop out to Cubbage at 3rd base. Well, Tom with a chance to help himself right here. Zachary sets and delivers, and Seaver takes a breaking pitch low and away. Nolan at second leads. Zachary to the belt. Pitch to Seaver, missing outside. 2-0 the count. The Reds trying to make it 3 straight over the Mets and 7 overall. In the last game in San Francisco, the 2-0 pitch. That's in at the knees. It's called strike 2-1. After 4 innings now at Okie City, the Indians leading Oklahoma City 1-0 behind Charlie Leibrandt. 2-1 delivery. Seaver swings and a broken bat bouncer to Baylor at short. Going on to Seaver, and Tom hustling down the line, and they just do get him. Well, the barrel of the bat flying all the way to 3rd base, and Baylor came up throwing, and Seaver hustling down the line, and I'll tell you, pretty close play. So in the inning for the Reds, no runs, a hit, no errors, 1 runner left on base, and in the middle of the 7th, it's Cincinnati 5, New York 2.
There's poetry in the West. You can hear it in the way people talk about everyday things, like fences.
There's a lot of sorry things can happen to a fence.
Or children.
She's cuter than a speckled pup under a red wagon.
The cowhand's bunkhouse.
I hung my clothes on the floor so they wouldn't fall down and get lost.
Even personal finances.
I'm so broke I can't even pay attention.
Here, then, is a Busch beer to the best of the West. The everyday poetry of its people.
Busch.
Head for the beer that always goes down smooth as a mountain stream. Busch. Brewed just one way, the natural way. For a taste that's always as smooth as its name.
Busch.
Head for Busch. Head for the mountain. Head for Busch.
Anheuser-Busch, St. Louis, Missouri.
New York in the bottom half of the 7th will send up Alex Trevino, Doug Flynn, and a pinch hitter for Pat Zachary. The Reds leading 5-2. Trevino 1 for 2. He singled the center in the 2nd inning, was called out on strikes in the 4th. Trevino overall hitting .280 with 8 RBIs and a double. Tom Seaver looking for his 7th win of the year in his 5th complete game in 12 starts. George Foster isn't swinging the bat. The Reds win this one tonight. That'll be the fourth game-winning RBI for Foster in the last 7 games. Trevino to lead it off. Seaver ready to go to work, and his first pitch on the way. Trevino looks at a curveball that's in for a called strike. Well, the Indians pick up another run and now lead Oklahoma City 2-0 after 5 innings. Trevino looks at a slider high, and it's even at 1-1. Seaver is 1-1. Trevino swings and misses a high fastball. Tom in front of ball 2 strikes. Well, a win for the Reds tonight and a loss for the Dodgers, and they're just a half a game out of first place. Trevino takes low and outside, and the count evens 2-2. Tom has struck out 5, has walked 1. A stretch the pitch, that's inside, full count. Tom has had strikeouts in every inning excepting the third. Payoff on the way. Trevino swings and a fly ball to right field. Dave Collins waiting on it. He has it, 1 out. 1 away, and that'll bring Doug Quinn to the plate. Doug 0 for 2, a fly ball to right, and has popped to Oster at second in his 2 times up. Ron Hodges moves on deck to hit for Pat Zachary. Reds with a 3-run lead, 5-2. Flynn pushes a bunt first base side. Dreesen has it, but that'll be a foul ball. So Danny reaching across the first base foul line, trying to keep it fair. And now Dutch Renner smilingly talking with Dreesen and Seaver. Actually, Dreesen in fair territory, fielding the ball, but drug it back across the foul line. So 0-1 to count to Doug Flynn. Seaver back to the plate. Flynn swings and fouls. Straight back, and Tom in front, 0-2. Tom the 0-2. And that's in the dirt. Bouncing a couple of feet in front of the plate. 1-2 to Flynn. One-two pitch. Flynn swings and misses. A pitch down and away, and that's 6 Ks for Seaver. 2 away, and Ron Hodges will hit for Pat Zachary. Hodges hitting .412. That a home run, 3 RBIs. As the pinch hitter, he's 1 for 4. Hodges, a left-handed batter, steps in. Two out, base is empty. Tom shakes off the sign and now delivers to Hodges. Looks at a slow curve, a called strike. Hodges away from the plate, now steps back in. Seaver winds and his 0-1 delivery. Another slow curve, that's just under the knees, and that Hodges double hitching on that one. Count evens 1-1. Seaver delivers the 1-1. And swung on and line right at Dave Concepcion, reaching above his head to pick it up, and that's the inning. And Tom has now retired 8 straight batters. And after 7, Reds 5, Mets 2.
When you step into Lee Jeans, you're stepping into a tradition that dates back to 1889. Lee Jeans were just what America needed then, and they're what America needs right now. Rugged construction, 100% cotton, and now the wrinkle-free characteristics of Lee's sand per set process. Lee Jeans, another living idea from Lee. The most comfortable name you can wear. Lee Jeans at Lancaster Hardware, 134 South Columbus Street.
Life insurance, the State Farm way. It's designed for your way of living, for a family, today's homeowner, the modern woman, students, young adults. Whatever your way of living, your State Farm agent can help you protect it.
Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there.
In Lancaster, see State Farm agent Earl Oatney at 422 North Broad Street or Bill Banfield at 634 North Columbus Street.
Now the 7-inning totals show the Reds 5 runs, 10 hits, and no errors. The Mets 2 runs, 5 hits, and 1 error. For the Reds, as they bat in the 8th inning, it'll be Dave Collins to lead it off. We have a new pitcher on the mound for the New York Mets, and to tell you about him, here's Marty.
Well, Joe, it's a young man making his first appearance as being called up on Monday from the Mets AAA Farm Club in Norfolk, Virginia, the Tidewater team, and it's a left-hander. His name is Ray Searage. This is going to be Searage's major league debut. He is a young man that the Mets acquired by their Tidewater Farm Club from St. Louis for Jody Davis back on the 10th of December 2 years ago. So he originally started in the Cardinals organization and came to the Mets in 1979 and was just called up from Tidewater on Monday. Ray Searage, spelled S-E-A-R-A-G-E, a left-hander, 6'1", 180-pounder from Freeport, New York. Now makes his home in St. Petersburg, Florida, and he's on to face the Reds here in the top half of the 8th inning. It'll be the top of the order up. Dave Collins, Ken Griffey, Dave Concepcion, the pitching line on Pat Zachary. He went 7, allowing 10 base hits and 5 runs, only 2 of which were earned. Striking out 6, walking 4, and if the Reds' lead holds up, he would lose his 7th game of the season. The Reds fell behind 2-0 tonight, but then tied it in the 4th inning on a single by Knight, a triple by Oster, and a single by Nolan. And then went out in front of the 6th inning when, with 2 down, Griffey singled to center. Dave Concepcion reached on an error by third baseman Mike Cubbage, and Foster exploded a home run into the Reds' bullpen in left field to bring the score to its present 5-2 count. They're in the last of the 7th at St. Louis. The Cardinals continuing to lead the Dodgers by a run at 2-1. So Joe Torre figuring now is as good a time as any in terms of letting young Mr. Searage get his feet wet, Major League Baseball style. Collins is 1 for 3, a single in the 4th inning. He was on in the 2nd through a base on balls. Turning around to hit as a right-handed batter for the first time tonight. Here's Searage's pitch, and Collins swings and hits it in the air to center field. Mookie Wilson drifting back, and he'll haul it in. 1 out. Again, we remind you in the event that a strike does come about tomorrow, Joe and I will be on the air at 8:05 tomorrow night on our flagship station, WLW Radio in Cincinnati, as well as our network stations for a 1-hour talk show beginning at 8:05 Cincinnati time tomorrow night, and then we will be in Wichita Saturday night and Sunday night to bring you play-by-play coverage of the Reds AAA Farm Club Indianapolis as they take on the Wichita team. That'll be Saturday night and Sunday night. The pitch is in for a call strike. Now the pregame show Saturday night at 8 o'clock Cincinnati time and 7 o'clock Cincinnati time on Sunday night. Otherwise, we would hope to be at Olympic Stadium in Montreal tomorrow night to begin that three-game weekend against the Expos. Line drive, base hit left center field. Ken Griffey enjoys for himself a three-hit night. That's the 11th Cincinnati base hit. And it brings up Concepcion. Davey is 1 for 4. He has scored a run. So Ken Griffey at first base with 3 hits and 4 times up. Or make that 3 for 5 on the night. Searage looks for the sign, looks to first, delivers to the plate, and the fastball is over for a called strike. That single by Griffey puts his batting average at an even 300. So Kenny adding some 6 points to his average tonight. He came in batting .294. That single puts him at 300, joining the likes of Dave Collins and George Foster and Dave Concepcion as 300 hitters, not to mention Joe Nolan, who also gets there tonight on the strength of a 3-hit performance. There's a throw to first base. Five to 2, the Reds lead the Mets in the 8th inning. Searage looking down for the sign again from Trevino, and the 1-strike pitch to Dave Concepcion after the long look at first is on the way. And that's a breaking ball, low and inside, 1-1. Joe Nolan has jumped his batting average up to 304. 1 ball, 1 strike, 1 out, and 1 on, 8th inning action. And the throw to first base by the rookie left-hander. Montreal has shut out Atlanta 7-0. Steve Rogers picks up his 7th victory of the season. Tommy Boggs is now 1-10 with the Atlanta Braves loss. Low and inside, 2 balls and a strike. Mike Lacoste scheduled to go for the Reds in the series opener in Montreal tomorrow night against right-hander Charlie Lee. Mike Lacoste, Ray Barrett Saturday, Sunday afternoon, Frank Pastore and Scott Sanderson. We hope we're playing. And a throw to first again, and Searage almost threw that one away. Rusty Staub had to reach down and off to his left.
Figures paid $18,612. 18,612. Total attendance in the house is 19,712.
Attendance here tonight, 19,712. 19,712. That is far and away the best of the 3 nights we've spent here at Shea Stadium. Swing and a miss on a high fastball. Davey was looking for heater, and that's what Searage gave him. And he was spinning on it, but did not get it. 2-2. Coming up next, George Foster. That's infield at double play depth. The outfield about straight away for the right-handed batter. He strikes out swinging. Searage got him with a fastball away. Foster at the plate with 2 out. Foster at the plate with 2 out. George struck out in the first, did it again in the third, did it a third time in the 5th, but then turned things around with a line drive home run to left field with 2 on in the 6th inning to break the tie. You talk about a man that has really been cranking it up of late. He has now driven in 22 runs in his last 15 games, counting this one. 5 doubles, a triple, 6 home runs, and 15 runs scored. And the home run extended his batting streak to 9 games. . During the 9-game batting streak, he's been hitting at a .412 clip. Trevino sends out the sign. Foster waiting at the plate as the left-hander straightens up out of the stretch position and pours it plateward. It's a ball low. Well, we certainly don't want to overlook the fact in talking about Ken Griffey and his 3-for-5 performance tonight that Kenny is playing in his 1,000th Major League game. This one here. And has hit safely in 22 now out of his last 27 games. So a milestone for Ken Griffey, Major League game number 1,000, and he's had a good night. Foster is ahead, 2 balls and no strikes. Reds are seeking their 7th consecutive win and hoping for another Cardinal victory over the Dodgers. It would allow the Reds to move to within a half a game of first. 2-0 pitch with Griffey at first and 2 men out. Ground ball hit hard, but at Doug Flynn. He, from a kneeling position, throws on to Bob Baylor at second for the force out. And in the Cincinnati 8th inning, no runs, 1 hit and 1 left. After 7.5, the Reds lead the Mets 5-2.
You can win more when you pick 4. The Ohio Lottery's weekly number game.
It's fun! It's
Pick 4.
That's how you play the game.
Pick 4.
How you play it is its name. And Thursday night, if your number's right, you get to share the pot. With all those people playing it, well, you could win a lot.
The Ohio Lottery's weekly number game. Pick 4.
If you like the popular natural look and luxurious inlaid vinyl, Congolium Fashion Floor could be the one to see. Fashion Floor recreates the textures and colors of real stone, brick, or even tile, in classic designs that are perfect for traditional or contemporary interiors. You'll also have the convenience of shopping in Mr. Carpet's beautiful Congolium Studio Showcase. That's Mr. Carpet, 120 West 6th Avenue, in Lancaster.
Top third of the New York batting order as we move to the home half of the 8th inning. Sam Mejias has replaced Dave Collins out in the right field position. And Tom Seaver, right now on a roll. He's retired 8 batters in a row. He has limited the Mets to only 1 hit over the last 4 innings. They've had a total of 5 hits on the night, and 3 of them came in the second when they scored one of their 2 runs. Only hit over the last 4, a double in the 5th inning by the man leading off the 8th, Mookie Wilson. He's the last man to reach base for New York. And Seaver climbs back on top of the mound. Turning around, taking a look at his defensive alignment as he is wont to do on occasion. Delivers to Wilson. Fastball up. Ball 1. The winningest pitchers in the National League right now are Valenzuela and Carlton. There's a swing and a miss. Carlton picked up his 9th win last night against only 1 defeat when the Phillies came up with 5 8th-inning runs to beat Houston. And Valenzuela with 9 wins, shooting for his 10th tonight, but trailing by a run in the 7th inning at St. Louis. The only 8-game winner is Dick Ruthven of the Phillies. He's lost 3 times, and Seaver with a win tonight would join Bert Hoopt of the Dodgers as a 7-game winner. 2 balls and 1 strike on Speedy Wilson. Ray Knight shallow on the grass at third. Seaver continues to work quickly, and Wilson with a bat handle foul back squares the count at 2. In the 8th at Toronto, Royals 7, Blue Jays 5. New York down a run to the White Sox 3-2 after 5 innings at Comiskey Park. The Rangers and the Brewers are tied up at 3-3 after 6.5. Tigers are being shut out 2-0 by Minnesota. That pitch is high for a ball, 3-2, and they're getting rain up at Bloomington. Seaver with a 3-2 pitch. And Wilson hanging tough with a foul back. At the present time, both bullpens are quiet. Again, the payoff pitch. And Wilson swings and he misses. He got him. That is 7 for Seaver. And that is 9 in a row that have come and gone. He'll work to Bob Baylor. Baylor is fly to right, sacrificed, and popped up to second base.
Here's the shortstop, Bob Baylor.
Baylor grounds one through the left side, a base hit. Now the ball momentarily bobbled by Foster, but he recovers in time. Baylor down 3 in the late innings has not got a chance being thrown out at second. We'll pause for station identification once again. This is the Cincinnati Reds Baseball Network.
Make Mark Clark a regular part of your day. Mark Clark, 10-2 here at K95. Mark passes along great information, makes way for the midday report of news service at noon, and plays great kickin' country music. Mark Clark at K95, WHOK-FM, Lancaster.
Ellis Valentine with Bob Baylor at first and an out. Hitless in 2 official trips. He's had a sacrifice fly. He takes the ball. Bottom of the 8th inning. Cardinals 2, Dodgers 1. Valenzuela is out. Left-hander Steve Howe is now pitching in relief for Los Angeles. This Mets crowd starved for something to get excited about, trying to get their ball club going. Valentine pops it up. He slings the bat away as the ball nestles into the mid of third baseman Ray Knight. 2 away. Here's Kingman. Has homered, walked, and struck out. Well, now with a runner at first base, he'll still put the shift on to Kingman. Checks his swing. It's a ball just off the outside edge. Now Lee Wire going out toward the mound to take a look at the baseball. Kingman might have said something to the plate umpire, and he checks it out and gives it back to Seaver. Cincinnati bullpen is busy. Tommy Hume, Joe Price. Baylor leading at first, and a 1-0 pitch to Dave Kingman is swung on and grounded to third. Ray Knight has it, looks to second, instead goes to Dreesen, and the inning is over. No runs, 1 hit, 1 left. We've played 8, and the Reds lead the Mets 5-2.
The names of the places suit the straightforward nature of the people who live there. The Sweetwater River, the Crazy Mountains, Twin Sisters Buttes, Last Chance Gulch, Roaring Springs, Texas, Immigrant, Montana. Plain up-front names that let you know pretty much what you're getting into before you get there. Here, then, is a Busch beer to the best of the West. The straightforward names and the straightforward people who invented them. Busch. Head for the beer that always goes down smooth as a mountain stream. Busch. Brewed just one way, the natural way. For a taste that's always as smooth as its name. Busch. Head for Busch. Head for the fountain. Head for Busch. Head for the fountain. Head for Busch. Anheuser-Busch, St. Louis, Missouri.
Here we go to the top half of the 9th inning. Second inning of work for young left-hander Ray Searage, who was touched for a 1-out hit in the 8th inning by Ken Griffey, but then picked up his first major league strikeout, retiring Dave Concepcion and getting George Foster to bounce into a force play at second base. Danny Dreesen will lead it off. He's walked twice, flied out to right, or to center, and then flied out to deep right field. That was at his last plate appearance in the 6th inning. Seaver would go 7-1 with a win. Zachary would go 5-7 with a loss. And the Reds would have 7 consecutive victories. But we still got an inning more of baseball to play here. Danny Dreesen heading toward the plate.
Leading off, the ninth inning, for the Cincinnati Reds, for first baseman, Dreesen.
Well, we've had good weather conditions here in New York, although the first day in here, and probably more so yesterday when it rained off and on all day, but then around 6 o'clock last night or a little bit later, it started to lighten up, and by game time we had nothing but blue skies. Today was a beautiful day here. The pitch to Dreesen is taken high, a ball. Five runs, 11 hits for Cincinnati, 2 runs, 6 hits, and a big error for New York, and a big one it was by Mike Cubbage. Dreesen moves away from the pitch in on him, 2-0. Danny Dreesen batting at even .300 against left-handed pitching, 30 at-bats against left-handers, and 9 base hits. Swung on and popped up into shallow left field. Going out Baylor, coming in Kingman. Kingman calls and makes the catch. 1 out. Ray Knight up for the 5th time. He's had 1 hit. That was an infield single deep at shortstop to lead off the 4th inning. If you're looking ahead of the bottom of the 9th inning for New York, it's going to be Rusty Staub, Mike Cubbage, and Alex Trevino. Knight grounds one into left field, a base hit by Cubbage, by Bob Baylor. Second hit off Ray Searage. And now Ronnie Oster with a triple and 3 times to the plate, an RBI, and a run scored. .295 average for the Cincinnati second baseman with 25 RBIs and a home run. Cubbage just a step off the grass at third as Searage looks to first, delivers. Oster swings and misses. Ronnie, a switch hitter, up there batting right-handed. Hitting .268 from the right side of the plate and .304 from the left side. Swing and a miss, strike 2. Searage with a good pitch down, and Oster quickly falling behind 0-2. Well, we got a good promotional idea here at Shea Stadium. Collector's cards in series. 62 Mets teams, 69 world champions, 73 National League champs, and Mets managers. That pitch is inside for a ball. 4 different days they'll be giving the memory series, the Magic Memory Series, as they call them, away throughout the course of the season. Imagine that baseball card collectors would probably be more than a little bit interested in that 4 different series of cards. 1 ball and 2 strikes, the count on Oster. Ronnie got around on a breaking ball, and Searage has his second strikeout. So with 2 out, Joe Nolan will be looking for his 4th hit of the night. Single to right center in the 2nd, knocked in a run with a base hit to center in the 4th, grounded out in the 5th, and double to right center in the 7th inning. Knight aboard with a 1-out hit to left. They're 2 away now in the top half of the 9th inning. Nolan with a smash, base hit, right field. His 4th hit. Going to second and holding there is Ray Knight. We've talked so much during the night, or certainly earlier in the early innings, about Tom Seaver starting here against his former club. Not really by any means overlooking the fact as Tom gets another big hand from the Shea Stadium crowd that Joe Nolan started his career in the New York Mets organization and appeared briefly on a number of years with the Mets back in the 70s. So you might say that he has come home, so to speak, tonight, and come home in a big way. 4 hits and 5 trips. Seaver's 0 for 3. Knight, the lead runner. He's stationed at second. Nolan with a hit to right at first. The pitch from Searage to Seaver, swung on, fly ball, hit to well, center field, but Wilson gets back on it and makes the catch. No runs in the 9th, 2 hits, 2 left. Home 9th inning coming up, and the Mets trail the Reds 5-2.
How fussy are you when it comes to picking a gasoline?
Whatever's closest.
That fussy, huh? There is a difference, you know.
There is?
Uh-huh. All Marathon brand gasolines. Super M lead-free, that's the premium gasoline. Mile Maker regular for older cars that can still use a leaded gas. And Mile Maker lead-free have Marathon's new special additive.
Well, what's special about the new additive?
I thought you'd never ask. It's designed to keep your engine running cleaner. And a cleaner engine can mean you'll get more efficient fuel economy and your car will drive better.
So it won't get that sluggish feeling.
Right. And of course, the better shape your engine's in, the less maintenance it needs.
I like saving money.
And the less chance of your car emitting pollutants. Your Marathon man can tell you all about it, because he really cares about helping you take care of your car. And one of the ways he can do that is by offering you a better product.
Like Marathon's new gasoline?
You got it.
Hey, you know something? I think I just got fussy about my gasoline.
Marathon. With the long-distance gasolines. Best in the long run.
New York needing 3 runs to get even as we go to the home 9th inning. Tom Seaver 3 outs away from his 5th complete game of the season. And his 7th win overall. Tommy Hume and Joe Price, as we look into the bullpen, are back up and getting ready just in the event that Tom might need some 9th inning help. Rusty Staub owns one of the 6 New York hits. That was a single in the 2nd. Since that time, he's fly to right, and in the 6th inning bounced out to Danny Dreesen. All around the Reds infield, and now Seaver gets it back from Ray Knight.
Leading off the bottom half of the 9th inning. For the Mets, the first baseman, Rusty Staub.
Seaver back behind the mound, hands on hips. Got off to a somewhat rocky start, but has really settled down since the 4th inning. The pitch is in for a strike. Well, from the 4th inning on, he's given them no runs on 2 base hits and jumps out in front on Staub, no balls and a strike. That's low, and it's inside, 1-1. Right-hander winds, he kicks and he fires, and Staub swings and fouls it back. That one got off the end of Joe Nolan's mitt and then carried on back to the screen. Ball 2 strikes. Seaver's walked only 1 batter, and that was Kingman in the 3rd inning while striking out 7. Giving him a seasonal total of 52 strikeouts. And he's popped Rusty Staub up. Ronnie Oster looking skyward, backing on the outfield grass, 1 out. Now Mike Cubbage will take his shots, 0 for 3, but 3 straight times he's hit it on the button. Fans getting on Cubbage a little bit, remembering the error that he committed back in the 6th inning that paved the way for George Foster's 3-run home run that fractured the 2-2 tie. Cubbage looks at a strike. Mike getting 219, 3 RBIs, homerless on the year. Pitch, slow curve, and just missed for a ball. One ball, one strike. On deck, Alex Trevino. Seaver bringing it up there, and this one is popped up. Going out in shallow center is Dave Concepcion. Griffey calls him off the ball, and Kenny hauls it in, and they're 2 out. So now Trevino, as Seaver seeks to get the Mets out in order for the 5th time tonight. Did it in the 1st, in the 4th, in the 6th, in the 7th, and is an out away from doing it in the 9th inning to nail it down. Tom sights the sign, the wind, the pitch, and Trevino checking. It's low, it's a ball. Almost went too far, but held up in time. Swing and a miss. The 35th victory on the year against 21 losses for Cincinnati. And a sweep of this 3-game series against New York. Foul ball back to the plate by Trevino. A ball, 2 strikes. Seaver a strike away. Now they start to applaud his efforts here at Shea Stadium. Trevino puts the head of the bat on the plate, cocks it. Seaver double pumps on the mound, and here it comes. And he's up high and inside with a curveball. 2-2. Now they start to stand at Shea Stadium as he brings it back to the plate. And a ground ball to shortstop. Concepcion to Danny Dreesen. And this one belongs to the Reds. Tom Seaver with another outstanding pitching performance as he comes into Shea Stadium and goes the distance in beating the Mets 5-2. A sweep for the Reds in their 7th consecutive victory. We'll be back in just a moment.